All right, guys. So welcome to the behind the scenes. We got about 10 more minutes, actually about 8 more minutes until we go live. So because you are listening to paratalk.org, you get to listen to a little bit of the pre-show that nobody else gets to listen to except for you. And if you're over on PPG Grandpa's video site, his YouTube, you get to hear it too. Unfortunately, live stream doesn't start until 8 more minutes. So we got Linda here. How you doing, Linda?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Kevin Can Fly is here. We got Brian. Brian's here also. Chris Wheeler from last week, if you remember him, he's also here on our panel. And today we also have David, which is going to be our guest next week, but he's just going to be on our panel and voice his professional opinion. And
that'll be a challenge.
And David, if you could turn your phone sideways so we get a horizontal view.
That'll make JP happy.
There you go. Awesome. Did anybody hear anything about JP? Is he supposed to be coming on?
Oh.
No, he's in the fly-in, right, with Shane?
That's right. That's right. They both went.
I hope that, I don't know. I hope that, because my friend lives in Ohio, and there were some tornado warnings about an hour ago, and Pennsylvania is supposed to get something, and yeah, it's not looking pretty, so hopefully they're not, trying to get out to fly now.
Well, that's another reason why I just don't want to go to a fly-in. I really don't want to drive, 500 or 1,000 miles to go someplace to find out that I can't fly that week. God, that'd be awful.
I mean, they had pretty decent weather the last few days, but yeah, my friend, and then I looked it up, and yeah, there was tornado warning, so.
That's not good. Hey, depends on your skill level. You might be able to ride that wake of the tornado, which would be really fun. And if you got your GoPros on, that would make some really good YouTube videos.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's all going to the Endless Foot Drag? Anybody? Are you?
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
That's cool. I was planning on it, but what's that?
When and where is that? The Endless Foot Drag?
It's the end of this month.
21 through 27?
21 through 27, yeah, of this month. In
Fredonia, Kansas.
And it's not too far away from me, but I don't know. I'm in the middle of a big project. I haven't told anybody, but I'll tell you and everyone listening to our pre-show, which, by the way, we seem to be getting 5,000 views, or not views, listens on our podcast, our audio podcast,
That's
which
awesome.
is really awesome. I can't believe that.
I had no idea.
The couple people that are listening to us right now on the audio, welcome. I'm actually, this right here is I don't know, how should I say it? It's a documentary on PPG. JP! On PPG. JP!
Hey, JP's in the house!
What's up, guys?
Got his head in the clouds again.
Always heads in the cloud.
I recognize that guy. Wait. That is David Coutinho.
What's that?
That's David. I know him from,
Yeah, he's famous. He's on YouTube.
from the YouTube.
Yeah.
We have the same front mount reserve container. Which actually I think Sean has too, don't you, Sean?
Yes, we all have the same,
So
which I don't like.
apparently all have the same the gym dashboard front mount reserve container.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
now
like
you're
it.
blood brothers, aren't you?
Basically. Must have
Does JP's screen look like it's frozen with his eyes looking up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's frozen.
Okay,
That's
JP, you look like you're a zombie.
yeah, there's a big storm right here. How's my audio?
Your
Yeah,
audio's
That's what
good.
happens. That's what happens when you throw big sats over the Ohio River. Is you look
Oh,
like
you saw that, huh? You saw that?
Oh, I did.
Hey, at least I didn't land in the Ohio River like another popular YouTuber around here. We don't talk about that yet?
That wasn't his fault. That was because he got rotored in the prop blast. Remember?
You're right. Yeah.
So
Anyways,
JP?
what's that?
Skinny Shane out there with you?
He was. He's rocking his Skinny Chef flag, and man, there were so many people there. It was.
Did he wind up getting hooked up with a new pipe?
A new pipe.
Exhaust pipe.
The
Yeah.
exhaust pipe was awful.
I didn't know he had a bad one. He was flying like crazy.
Yeah, he posted a picture of his pipe fractured like the rest of the Vitarazi wimpy pipes.
Yeah, right in the
The
6
old
inches
crack
from the
pipe.
outlet. Yeah,
The dreaded crack pipe.
yeah.
I haven't had that, and the first motor I had with the Classic, I had a different exhaust on it. This my 19 seems to be doing okay. So crossing my fingers and knocking on.
I think the word was that they got a bad batch or something like that of pipes put out with a defect in them. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of NY19s. I've only got 20 hours on my motor right now, and I have a feeling it's coming.
Yeah, mine went out at about 20, 25 hours, and it
Yeah.
was
Start putting some money
it was
aside.
it was a chunk that could have easily taken out the prop. I mean, it was a big chunk that came out. Yeah.
So far, I'm doing pretty good, and this motor, I have a little over 100 hours on this one.
Nice.
Knock
I
on wood.
think usually
Yeah,
if it happens, it
I got
happens early.
127 hours on my motor, and it runs like a champ.
I like
And-
champs.
Two rebuilds so far.
You have so many problems with your paramotor. You really need more than one. You need like a whole stock of different ones. Just when one blows up, you can just use another.
His frames crack like Viterazzi's exhausts. Yeah.
I know.
Well,
That's insane.
not anymore. We re-engineered it. Now it's better.
That's what's up.
Okay,
Kyle,
we
Nice thing about
got about
it's
one
a
more
nice thing
minute
about working
until we go
hand-in-hand
live
with the manufacturers.
on YouTube.
Kyler Glee was saying
1
2
minute.
is one, one is none.
I must have missed something. What?
Sometimes.
Kyler Glee was saying 2 is one and 1 is none.
For
Mhm.
what?
Having a spare. Yeah, having a spare paramotor.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that one. I
think
missed
you
that. I
talked
missed
about
that quote. Darn it!
reserves. is
All
what
right,
he-
guys, ready to go live on YouTube. Dun dun dun. Live on YouTube. Give me a
How
second.
do I do this where I can see everybody?
There's a button in the top right corner. It says
Top right corner.
Speaker
gallery
view
video.
or
Says
gallery view.
Okay, I just click that.
You can try it.
Now, if you just look at it hard enough, it'll switch itself.
It's a look screen, instead of a touch screen.
Okay. All right, there you go.
So
So
this is episode
32.
32. All right, and
I didn't realize you're getting so many listens on your podcast, man. That's awesome.
That's
it
a lot.
is insane. I cannot believe it. Welcome, everyone. We are now streaming live to YouTube. Everyone that is listening to the audio got a little bit of the behind the scenes. So we totally appreciate you. I am going to share this live stream real quick. Copy live stream to the clipboard. Let's go over to my Facebook real quick. Let people on my Facebook know that I am streaming live.
Yeah, we're live.
We are definitely live. All right, top 20 paramotor pilots. You should follow on YouTube. All right, paste
Hey.
and post. Paste and post. All right. There we go.
All right, see all you guys now.
We are live. This is not Memorex. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Symons, also known as PPG Grandpa. I'm talking slow because I have so many kids in the back. Got all the grandkids. I got granddogs and everything back here. This is Labor Day, so this is just going to be a short one. We're only going to be talking for about an hour today. That way we can get back with our friends or fly, whatever we need to do. So welcome for the next 49 minutes. Today in our panel, we have Linda Anderson, both clap, cheer. Look at it. She's our cheerleader. Isn't that awesome? That's great. We also have, remember last week we had Chris Wheeler. Chris is back this week. Welcome, Chris. Kevin can fly. He is also here. He is our instructor that we can ask him anything because he is awesome. We have Brian Haybale Waller. Welcome, Mr.
Hey.
See ya. We have JP. He is our technical guy that makes sure that anything that you see on here, it's done through him. So thank you, sir. We appreciate you. And we also have David here. He has not been on here before, but he will be our guest next week. So he is on the panel to give us some of his expert advice. Today, we're talking about the top 20 paramotor pilots that you should follow on YouTube. However, we're talking about the top 20. We don't actually have a list here, guys. We're going to be talking about the ones that influenced us and the reason why we're here. Now, we're going to put Tucker Gott off to the side because we already know about Tucker Gott. It's the other ones that we want to know about. And other than Tucker Gott, the next one that comes to my mind immediately is Anthony Vela, because not only did I watch him on the internet on YouTube, but he also had the Paramotor podcast, which I really thought was cool. He's up to episode 30. Hey, this is episode 32 on ours, so we actually beat him. Yay, we beat him. Don't tell Anthony. Don't tell Anthony. You'll have to do a couple more to beat us, but we don't want him to beat us. Anyways, guys, so what we're doing today is we're talking about the top 20 paramotor pilots. We're going to write them down, see who we talk about, and then list them off at the very end. If you are watching this on clearproptv.com, then we have a chat. So in the chat, if you would, let us know who are the people that influenced you in the PPG world. Is it a paramotor pilot or is it somebody in your family? Let us know. So let's go ahead and start right away. Who wants to talk about the paramotor pilots that have influenced them? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, Sean.
All right.
Because I was just at his place this weekend. So he hit me up on YouTube and invited me to come on down. And his name is Kyle O'Glee. And let me tell you, while I was at his place, he was absolutely the teacher that you would think he was, because he had a few students there. And I got to watch him go through his spiel with his students and teaching how to kite and weather, and did some hang testing and that kind of thing. The amount of patience he has is, you could tell he was definitely made to teach. So I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. I think Kyle O'Glee is probably somebody that we all have looked upon, at least his videos, and said, and at least got something from him, and probably is weather related, because that man sure does know his winds.
I totally agree with you. I often go back to his videos because they are very informative, fun, and he's got that voice. He has a very distinctive voice. If you hear him in a crowd, you know that he's out there. He's very distinctive, very awesome professional voice. Who else? Linda, don't you have somebody in your life that is very professional? May not be PPG, but it is PPG. As long as you don't have dogs that are barking.
I know.
Who's in your life that you look up to?
Oh my gosh, that would be Robert Michaels, the paraglidingtalk.com. He's been flying since 2017, and just in the last year, I've just really started getting involved in all his flying episodes and his show, and so now it's just kind of really taken off. So I'm his PR. I keep saying like payroll, but he says I'm public relations, so you know. But yeah, very much so. I mean,
I think Linda is the one that funds his payroll.
I know, I do. I know, exactly. It's like every week, okay, you know. But he is like come so far and taking that SIV course, and I watched that last video when him and Anthony, he took Anthony out there to El Cap, and Robert just about gave me a heart attack when he was doing his, all of a sudden, just started swirling and what they call that SAT, and
It's that, yeah.
but he pulled himself out of it. So Sean, if you can catch that, I think I tagged you on it, but yeah, you got to watch it. It's pretty awesome.
I like watching the SIV courses. Since we're talking about SIV courses, real quick, shout out to Andrew Fuller. Not only is he the maker of the paramotor frame, Skytap Angel that I fly, but he also runs a very successful SIV clinic down in Florida, and I have gone to 2 of his clinics already. It's amazing. You learn so much in 2 days, and you come back like you been working out for a week with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, it's just so sore, but the amount of knowledge is amazing. So Andrew Fuller and also Leah Catullo for sure. Jonathan Carr also too. Amazing people. Who else has some people that influence them? Come on, somebody.
I know we're not supposed to talk about he who should not be named, but honestly, I spent a lot of time watching Dell's videos because the guy has some genuine skill. And it wasn't until I realized the less personable side of him that I then started to seek the depths elsewhere. But I did find a lot of great information, you know,
No, we're not supposed to.
coming through. But I watched Tom Kubat's videos. I think Tom does a great job. When Woody Gamertag was putting out flying videos, I think Woody did a great job with videos. Woody's videos had a lot of really good, rich content. And I'm kind of bummed that he decided to take a break from doing his stuff, but it is what it is. But yeah, there's several really good people out there as far as information and just plain entertainment. I mean, shoot, for entertainment, Mark Amundsen, that guy is hilarious. Half his videos will crack me up just as much as they give you something to watch. So, you know, a lot of good content.
Sure.
Absolutely. How about you? Hey, Bill.
Well, for me, I'm gonna have to break protocol, man. My biggest influencer was not a paramotor pilot. He still would like to be, but he's not yet. But it's my dad. He taught me how to fly. I've been flying with him. He started an ultralight club here in the late 80s, early 90s, became the president of it, one of the biggest ones in the United States, one of the top 3 at one point, and had 30 planes in my front yard when I was a kid doing a fly-in. So, you know, for the passion of flying goes ways back in my family. I broke a leg in my airplane crash my second time up when I was in the 7th grade, and I didn't fly for quite a few years. I regret that. But I did get back up there with my dad, and he taught me to fly. I soloed in 2012 with fixed wing aircraft, ultralight, and I've been enjoying aviation ever since. And I wanted to be able to fly while I travel in my camper, and there was only really one good way to do that, and that was a paramotor. So I started watching some videos, John Baptiste Chandelier, and then Tucker Gott, and you know, I watched Tucker's videos. I want to learn where to train. He said aviator, and that's where I went. You know, I guess the rest is on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Aviator. Yeah, I actually have Eric Farewell on my list too. I've been crossing out all the people that we've talked about to make sure that we're all on the same page. See how many people you say, and see what I have on the list. Real quick, I do want to shout out to kevincanfly.com. Yes, I am actually shouting you out, Kevin. He is a really good instructor. JP, another good paramotor pilot. We also have the Brian Waller, Skinny Shane, never trust a skinny chef Shane. We also have Tommy Mosley and a couple of other people that we've had on our podcast. Chris Wheeler, he's still here. Shane Bittner, Mark McElroy. We also had Harley on here. Brody Smith, Philip Anthony, Doug Martin, Jeff Goen, and Will Liddy. Those are all the people that we've had on our podcast, so we definitely want to shout them out. Since we already said JP, who is your people that influenced you?
I would say one of the first videos I ever saw, I don't know if it was the first video. It's hard to put your finger on what was the first paramotor video you ever saw, you know, but I clearly remember one of the first few that got me really into it was a video that Matt Minyard put out, and I just did a search for it and pulled it up. It's titled Girl Tries to Get High on Her Own, Living Life, Paramotor Life is the title of that video. And I must have watched that video 100 times. It's just, you see this 4 foot tall, 80-pound girl, you know, strap a motor to her back, and she's doing touch and goes, and just the soundtrack on the video is awesome. And it just, I don't know, that video set it off for me. So right off the bat, I'm going to have to say Matt Minyard, even though he doesn't produce a lot of content, what he does make is really, it's what he does. Like, he's just filming his life. He's not producing like a show or anything. He's just going out there and living the van life, and he's filming it while he does it. And that's, you know, something unique to how he does things. I'll also say I really like Mark Honeycutt. Him in Atlanta, they make a lot of good stuff too. Man, there's so much. Max Martini, John Baptiste, like Brian said, so many good. Bart Berry, his buddy. Who's his buddy that flies the free ride? Anybody follow Bart Berry? There's so many good pilots out there.
You know, one person that I wanted to add to this that I think is really well known but highly underrated is Mike Robinson from Blackhawk.
Yeah.
Mike is a wealth of knowledge. He's been in the sport and industry for many, many years. And that's another one of the video content producers that kind of got me started into paramotoring back in the day, was watching the breakdown of how Mike would discuss the differences between the different gear without sitting there telling you that the Blackhawk was the one to buy. He would tell you that you come to Blackhawk Ranch and they have all kinds of gear and you can try all kinds of things. And I always enjoyed that about somebody who's willing to not only show you the skills, but then pit their equipment up against the competition around them for an honest comparison. And I think Mike has always shown to be a very honest guy. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And what was Mike's last name?
Robinson from Blackhawk, Mike Robinson.
There's another Mike there too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's 2 Mikes.
Okay.
I couldn't think of the other Mike's name off the top of my head.
They do a show. I think it's called Coffee with Mike and Mike. It's like a pair.
Yeah,
That's
that's it. Okay. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one Mike owns the company, Mike Robinson owns the company, and the other Mike is the one that runs the motor school and does all of the maintenance and stuff, builds motors, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
I guess we're up to David real quick. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Just real quick, if we're saying influential too, I gotta throw a shout out to my instructor, Chris Holbert, Predator Paramotor Training. By far, he's the single most person who's influenced my flying style. Just because I spent so much time with him in training, and still to this day, I hang out with him as much as I can, and I'm still getting pointers to him. And you know, that goes to his. You know, he's still seeking instruction himself, which is something that I really admire about him, is that he doesn't have it all figured out. You know, like some people might say, like, I've made it, I got it. You know, he's still furthering his education. He goes to clinics with Matt Minyard and goes out to see Chris Santa Croce in Utah. And there you go, another good, you know, fantastic name, Chris Santa Croce of Superfly in Utah. He's just been in the sport for decades, and a wealth of knowledge, and just that knowledge trickles down, and I'm happy to see it make its way to my brain. So I'll pass it on from there.
Thank you, JP.
Awesome.
As I was saying before, you talked about your instructor. I will quickly say shout out to my instructor, Britton Shaw. But I guess at the very end of this, we'll talk about all of our instructors and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely we need to talk about our instructors and how well they influenced us. Mr. David, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Who influenced you as far as PPG and flying?
Well, I about 30 years ago, I remember I lived in Indiana, as I started out my ministry, my pastoral work. And there were these guys flying around on trikes way back then because I think the equipment was heavier. And I looked into it and I couldn't afford it. So I didn't do anything. And then last spring, I guess it was, not this last spring, but 2 springs ago, I turned on YouTube. I hadn't even been very aware of YouTube, except that I could find out how to change a dishwasher on there. And there was Tucker Gott, and he was young, so while it was neat, it didn't really relate a lot to me. And then I saw Woody on there, and Woody made a big impression on me. And after listening to him a little bit, I decided to do it. So I got some training, but it didn't work out well for me, mostly my fault, I would say. And so I ended up going down to Aviator for 6 weeks. Told Eric Farewell my situation, and he said, come on down. And so I volunteered for 6 weeks. And so that whole team down there had a huge influence on me. And this summer I went out and saw Dave Halcomb and Matt Minyard. And Matt is just, he's like a physicist for
Right.
PPG, isn't he?
Yeah.
And so listening to him and watching those guys, you could see it was easy why Eric Farewell had chosen Midwest PPG as an affiliate. They just were really good out there. And I just loved my time down at Aviator.
I didn't go to Aviator, but I've heard a lot of good things about them. What about Aviator did you like the best, real quick?
Like I say, I wasn't a student. I was volunteering there. But if I would say the thing that I really appreciated was, first, they knew what they were doing. But also, if you went as a student, there's a fella down there, his name is Mike, and he says, you get concierge service. Yeah. And he said, you get concierge service. And it really was. They treated their students like royalty, is the way I'd explain it.
That's the best crew down there, man. Woody is another Woody, not Gaming Woody. Woody Trayon, and Ross. Man, there's Fletch, the whole crew. You know, AJ. You know, there's several instructors that have come through there that I've met that were training while I was there. It seems like the biggest trend there is their students keep coming back. You know, either coming back and trying to take part as an instructor, or just coming back to fly with the instructors. It's just it's a pretty good family to be part of, for sure. I'm a little partial. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're great guys. They're great guys.
All right. Well, we went around and we talked about the paramotor people that influenced us. Besides Tucker Gott, what other famous people can you think of out there that would be worth watching on YouTube?
So the one that I watch in slow motion the most, especially when the camera goes off to his hands, is a guy named Mitch G.
Yeah.
The skill of Mitch G is unreal. So that guy knows speed bar better than anybody I've ever seen on a speed bar. But it's not just that. He understands the difference between brake and tip steering. He is really a professional at 2D steering. He's very good. So if you slow his videos down and watch his hands because he doesn't talk much about what he's doing with his bar and his hands, but it's magical the way that guy can control it. So what he's doing is highly advanced, because if you're on the bar and you're low to the ground like he is, you better know what you're doing. But so I would definitely say Mitch G is in there. And I'm gonna put a tick on JP's thing about Chris Santacroce. If you haven't watched Santacroce's series on pitfalls and that kind of thing, that's like a must. You must watch Chris Santacroce's the Superfly videos. I think there's only maybe 12 or 13. There's not many, but every one of those is like a golden nugget of knowledge. And then 2 more that I'm gonna mention is Jockey Sanderson. Jockey is a paraglider guy, but I'm telling you, the stuff that he puts out there is top notch. And then if you just want fun and you just want to watch a guy that's super famous and forget the language because most of his videos are in Polish, is a guy named Mr. Lojack. Mr. Lojack is like the king of flying paramotors, hands down. That guy is, if you haven't heard of Mr. Lojack or haven't watched his stuff, here's a guy who goes into domes and starts flying slalom in domes and stuff. I mean, this guy is insane, but you know.
Interesting. So real quick, everybody, what do you think is more important when watching a YouTube video about paramotor? The 4K crisp, you know, everything's, you know, nice and perfect, the audio, both, or instruction?
I think it kind of depends what you're watching it for. If you're watching it for entertainment, then probably the quality of the video and audio. If you're watching it to learn something, then probably instruction. I think it's every person on YouTube who does this has a different forte and a different reason they're doing it. You know, so you know, if you're going to watch Tucker, it's great entertainment. If you're going to watch and you want to know something specific about maneuvers and that kind of thing, you'll watch Santa Croce, or you'll watch, you know, Jockey Sanderson or somebody like that.
I asked Robert who his influence was, and he just told me it was Tucker.
Tucker got
Shoot a fly. He said Tucker got. Yeah.
So my personal view is it's the delivery. It could have terrible audio. It could have arguably terrible video if that exists at this point in technology. But when the person who's giving you the flight, whether it's just a flight and you're coming along with them, or whether it's a video about progressing a skill in some way, the way that the information is delivered is probably the biggest thing, in my opinion, that matters the most for the videos that I watch. And then, like we were mentioning earlier, one of the big ones that's paragliding, not paramotoring, but the skills translate the same, is fly bubble. So they have a great series on kiting, ground handling, high wind kiting, how to launch your wing, kill your wing, and pitfalls around how kiting your wing can get you hurt on the ground, or how you can be successful on the ground. And then they have a whole lot of other information as far as if you wanted to free fly, how to soar, how to get away from the hill, how to thermal. They break down a lot more of the finite means of flying, more so than just the motoring. But it's a great wealth of information from Fly Bubble.
I agree. I like Fly Bubble, and that definitely makes sense. If you're looking for just raw videos and listening to the sounds and watching, you'd want to watch, you know, the Tucker Got raw videos that he puts up. That does make sense a lot. Looks like Tommy Mosley is on here. Welcome, Mr. Tommy.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you back on here. Have you been flying lately?
No, I've been on call all week at work, so I've been busy.
Now, is this the guy that flew at Sonic? I'm confused.
Yes. Yes, that's the guy that decided that he did not want to eat at Nick's barbecue. He'd rather go over to Sonic and then fly away and eat at 5,000 feet.
What's up, Tommy?
Real quick from the chat, Bill 8 or Charles Shirley mentions Fly Guy Alberta, which I believe he's an instructor and he's out of Canada.
Yes, I got Fly Guy Alberta. I was going to mention him, so that's awesome.
A lot of good content too.
Yeah.
For anybody that can fly a couch, I don't know if you know who that is.
Oh yeah,
That's my
Did you-
Pretty impressive.
Did
Yeah.
you see that he is now flying a bed? He's
Yeah, I believe
sleeping.
that.
Did you see? Yeah, I think JP saw that.
Well,
So-
next year, he's going to take the whole house with him.
since you guys mentioned Fly Guy, I thought I would just throw in a little useless bit of information about his channel. So if you notice, you can go back on his channel for many videos, and you'll notice that he never ever shows his face. He does talking, he'll show you the paramotor, he'll show you the wing, he'll show you his trailer. He never ever shows you his face. The reason for that is because Fly Guy is an undercover, or was an undercover officer in the Royal Canadian Police, and worked
Wow.
with narcotics and things like that, taking down people. He was actually like a Donnie Brasco for the frickin' Canadian Police Department. So that's
Wow.
why he never showed his face, because nobody could ever see him not in his quote natural setting or his undercover setting. So that's why.
Come on.
With a paramotor and a machine gun and arrest people.
Yeah,
No
so that's why
way.
for all of his videos, he never ever showed his face because of his undercover police work. He couldn't allow himself to be viewed outside
Where'd you
of
read
his
this?
undercover life.
How'd you hear about this?
I know things. What do you mean? How did I
Okay,
read
all
that?
right.
I know things.
I know things.
It's part of
it's
it's part of being in the instructor network. You know things that the students don't know.
There you go.
I'm looking.
No,
at-
he had divulged that at the Salton Sea Fly-In to a couple of friends of mine.
Anybody mention Andre Bandera?
I was about to say that too.
Did you see him geek out on the line tensions?
I saw that.
Oh my God, that guy's brain is like this big.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
been working on that for 2 years now, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know, but he finally got it done. He put all the data out. You can actually download a PDF report of the whole thing.
He did a video too where he legit unplugs every single line one at a time and sees how it affects the glider.
I
saw
saw
that
that.
one.
That was
Yeah.
really cool. I
Yeah.
like that. So I know that I never want to lose an A.
Right, yeah, that was pretty, don't want to do that. But it just,
Especially not an inner A.
right.
Definitely. All right. I'm going to name a couple of people that are on the list that we didn't talk about. And let me know if you heard of this person or not. And if you did, what do you think of them? First one, PPG Gorilla.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
I think he's
Is
at
he
the flying
related to
right now.
PPG Grandpa?
Rick is
You would-
Rick is okay. Wink, wink.
Have you guys seen the new content he dropped with his dog? I want to do that. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
It popped up on my thing, but I didn't get to watch it. What did it show?
it's pretty cool. He's got his dog. He's got a special pair of dog muffs.
Oh,
for
his dog.
his dog, and goggles for the dog, and like a 6-point harness, and he's
Yeah.
got it mounted on his lap, and he takes them for
So cute.
flights with him, and the
Yeah.
thing will hang out and bark at the cows as he flies over them.
That's awesome.
I think
Okay.
I saw
Only
that.
problem is if I take my dog, I have to take an extra 90 pounds up with me, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, my dog would be more than choking if I tried that. Yeah.
I've got a Yorkshire Terrier that weighs 4 pounds. It wouldn't be that hard.
Perfect.
About a gallon of gas. There you go.
That's like JP's little 6-ounce Maltese he's got.
Yeah. Oh, baby. He's coming up with me someday. aren't you?
Oh, that's what I want to do. I want to bring one of my dogs too. And I did see that video with him because I asked him what kind of earmuffs did he use,
Yeah.
and he told me. That's right, he did.
They sell them on Amazon. They have different sizes for different pups. They're
That'd be
called
pretty
they're called something clever, like bark muffs or
Yeah.
bark something.
I think that they're pretty cool. All right, here's a second one, and tell me if you heard of him and what do you think of Paramotor Crazy.
David Wolfie. David
I
Wolfie.
like that Dave. He's a good guy too.
Old
Yep.
Mr. Wet and Wild himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I didn't.
I was teasing Dave, and I said he earned his second merit badge. So he got his bush pilot badge when he landed in a tree, and now he's got his Wet and Wild badge now that he's landed in the river.
Oh, I gotta watch. I haven't watched that video yet. I'm gonna have to watch that.
We really need to have actual badges that we can put on ourselves when we do something silly like that. Thank God I don't have one of those yet, but I'm sure that I will eventually. I mean, that's how it goes, right? You're going to get a badge.
Like,
If you
don't
fly
be a Buttlander badge.
Okay.
Buttlander badge.
I guess I got that badge. I got the Buttlander badge. You're right.
I got the broken prop badge.
Okay, there you go.
I guess that's what we're talking about. I guess I do have a turtle badge too.
I didn't mention Paramotor Crazy, but he was an influence as well. In the first fly-in that I went to, he gave me a sticker. So that was kind of cool.
That's
There
cool.
you go.
You still have the sticker?
I do. It's on my truck.
Oh, cool. All right.
No,
Here we
love
go.
our stickers.
Okay, I got another one. Tell me if you know him or what do you think of him. Ready? Paramotor noob.
Yeah, he's an English guy, right?
Yeah, not so much
Yeah.
of a noob anymore either.
No.
He forever will be a noob because of his name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, got another one. PPG Flyer. FLYR.
I
Anybody?
don't know.
I'm
if
not
I'm
sure
aware
if
of
I've
that
seen
one.
him.
I
Okay.
don't know. I know everybody.
I got
I-
one for you. How about PPG Explorer?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the next one I was going to say. PPG Explorer.
Florida guy, right?
Yeah, Bill does some great videos. Bill's been killing it with his videos.
All right, got another one. Tell me if you know this guy. I don't think he's well known at all. Maybe a couple people know him. How about Eric Dufour?
Who?
Eric Dufour.
Eric
I
who?
met
I was teasing when I said that. I know.
I know, right? Eric Dufour. He's some
I met
guy
him
out
down
there
at Palm
that
Bay.
some random guy. I think not too many people know him. Does anybody know Bo Feldman?
Hmm.
He flew from Oshkosh or Florida to Oshkosh or something like that, didn't he?
I think
Yeah.
he did that
Like a million
long
mile.
one.
Stop it.
How
million
about
mile trip.
Greg
Blew up his
Anthony
engine on the way
Harris?
there.
Greg Anthony Harris.
Oh yeah, Greg makes awesome edit videos. Greg's a filmmaker, not a video maker.
Yeah, he's new to PPG, but not new to YouTube, that's for sure.
Definitely makes some really
Yeah.
good ones.
He's got a fantastic film that he just released on the training process and everything that he's gone through. And he's Canadian, him and his girlfriend, and they couldn't get to the States to finish their training because of a passport situation or something like that. But he released this, I think it's like a 20-minute video. It's, and like Kevin said, it's not a video, it's a film. It's, to call it just a YouTube video is selling it very short. I think everyone should watch it if they. I'm gonna pull it up here real quick just so everyone can find it.
I mean, that video pulls up emotion, and it's like it
Yeah.
reminds you of your first. It reminds you of your first day. It reminds you of your training. It makes you feel like you're a part of what's going on. It's amazing.
Called "But What If We Fly."
That was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah,
Another one,
very well
another
done.
one I would plug is Glenn Tupper with his Paramotor Australia and Paramotor the Americas.
Mhm.
He's also put out 2 really good full-length films on paramotoring as well.
I'm glad I jump on. I haven't heard of a few of these people.
The list is really it just.
It's okay, Tommy. They haven't heard of you either.
Actually,
Well, I mean, I follow a lot of free fly guys. Like Getty G has been one of the ones that I've just absolutely loved watching his videos. You know, that's kind of where I'm at, and you know, a lot of 500 miles to nowhere. Gavin's videos.
Right, yeah. Between Getty G and Max Martini, it's like you can sit and drool over free flight all day.
Exactly. So I mean, a lot of the PPG guys, you know, the big main ones I follow, but some of these guys, I need to follow them. It sounds like they're making some good stuff.
Well, if you want to see another filmmaker who's really good, he's not, he doesn't talk, or I don't think I've ever heard him talk. It's Airborne with an E. So look up Airborne with an E. That guy makes, it's cinematography of paragliding.
How do you spell it? Is it started?
AIRB, yeah, that's it. AIRBORNE, Airborne.
Oh, Airborne. Like,
yeah,
gotcha.
Is the name of his.
Well, I will
channel.
say, I was a child of the 90s, and that dumb movie was one that I watched a few times.
What's that?
That's it right there.
The movie Airborne, where the kid gets stuck in Cincinnati, Ohio with his roller skates and finds a girlfriend. It's a typical 90s story.
I miss the 80s and 90s. The good old days. So, Tommy, since we're watching this on here, tell us who are the people that influenced you or the people that you look up to in paramotor. Mr. Tommy.
There was really Kyle Oates, and I've gotten to, you know, fly a lot of the same sites that he did. That's the person that I really Well, yeah, Kylo's videos, he's such a weird dude, and just he's hilarious and nerdy and smart, and you know, I really enjoy his videos. They seem down to earth, and he's giving you honest opinions on everything. I've always respected his videos and liked them a whole lot. That's the main one, just because he does a little bit of free flight, does a little bit of motor. He's into a lot of the same stuff I'm into. But other than that, you know, the Tucker Got, it's hard to get away from Tucker Got whenever you type in PPG. That's what pops up. Mark Honeycutt, Woody Gamer Tag, you know, the main ones. I don't know what's up with Woody. It doesn't seem like he's making near as many videos now.
He made a comment a while back where he said he wasn't going to make them if he didn't feel the magic. He said he doesn't want to make videos and have them be boring, and people would say, oh no, if you make it, it'll be great. And he comes back with, well, you wouldn't say that if I had made just another regular boring video with nothing happening.
Well, I mean, the last few videos I saw of his, he was throwing a second reserve, landed in the middle of I mean, those were the last videos I saw of his. And I'm like, yeah. What do you mean, boring?
He's good friends with a fellow down at Aviator, and I think that part of the problem for Woody is that he's got a site that focuses on one thing, and he doesn't want to divide that to something else. There's two different audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah, he has the gamer audience. That's his main base, I think.
Yeah. But
make another YouTube channel. I mean, goodness, it would definitely make money, I would think, or get views or whatever. I mean, I'm interested to see what he's up to.
JP, we're still looking at your screen. There you go.
Oh, there I am.
I'm glad it was just that
I
screen.
was like, where did I go?
All right. We've been talking for almost 40 minutes so far on our live podcast. And we got a lot of names here I would definitely want to list off. But I suppose off the top of your all heads, who are the top 10 paramotor pilots that people think about or know about when they first get into it?
Okay, you did what I was going to ask, but when you say top, do you mean like best skill, best videos?
Just who are the names that come to
well-known?
The well-known, like the newbies. If you ask a brand new newbie, it's like, who are the paramotor pilots out there after Tucker Got? Who comes off next?
You are going to come.
Hey, Bill.
Y'all are going to hate me for this. Super Dell. You can't get away from him.
And
Super Dell's all over the
Captain
place.
Kurt, you're going to come across him too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Captain Kurt, Dell, and Tucker Got. All right, who flows off next after those three?
Kylo.
Kyle.
Okay, Kylo. Who else?
Him and his wife.
I can't hear you, Brian.
I trained with Derek Trout and his wife, Leanne.
Yeah.
They both had a very positive influence on my life. Ashley Goen, AJ from Aviator. He's one of their lead instructors down there now. Super awesome dude.
And One Up Adventures.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And who?
The two guys from One Up.
Kyle and
Mooney. Yeah,
Kyle Mooney and Travis Burns.
Yes.
Travis was at the fly-in this weekend at Dave Curtin's. He was there certifying David Wolf, that he was, 5 minutes before he went into the water. I don't know what that says about him, but
You're not going to live that one down for a while.
Yeah, he's in trouble with that one.
You know, the thing that I wanted to point out in that one is he wasn't flying the Atom 80. He had the motor power, so it's not like he wasn't at a disadvantage for power to climb back out of the water.
This is true. I don't know. It's live and learn, We got to give him a hard time because that's our job, but at the same time, it's not a difficult mistake to make. So
no idea what it means to live and learn.
I don't know what you're talking about with my.
Don't know what you're talking about at all.
Yeah. So what happens? We've all been there, and
We've definitely all been there.
I admire David for posting his mistakes. and not being like, "No, that never happened," you know. But he posts it for the rest of us to learn from. So
Stand by. You'll be admiring me in a few weeks.
Hey, don't
I
say
was-
that, man.
I was
No,
flat
I-
blown away that he was able to launch that wet diaper and get it up in the
yeah,
air.
that was impressive. Which it opens up an entire new thing for me. Was I didn't think you were supposed to do that with wet lines. It stretches them out, but
It actually shrinks them more than it stretches them. It shrinks your D lines.
right. So I made a comment in his video to make sure he gets that checked out, but that was impressive. But
Didn't Jeff Dean, didn't he had a little crash? I don't know if it was there at that location, but he didn't crash in the water, but there was something on Facebook that he, yeah.
what did you have coming up, David?
Jeff Dean.
When I was out on that west tour, I got into Sturgis and took a flight. And I noticed as I took off that I didn't have the lift that I was used to because it was at altitude. And sure enough, I got up and around a little ways and everything was fine. And I looked at my arm and I had left my phone on the ground in a public park.
Oh no!
So I turned around and I landed. Everything was fine. And I set up again. And this time you'll get to see it in the video.
Look forward to it.
Hey, did you get to fly close to Mount Rushmore when you were out there?
I did. I flew down at Fort Custer State Park. But like I say, I was afraid to go a great deal far away from the airport there because if I went down, I wouldn't have anybody to get me. So I took off around Custer. I was planning on flying the few miles up there to see Mount Rushmore, but I chickened out and just flew around Custer and landed.
Who did we have here a couple weeks ago that flew Mount Rushmore? Didn't we have who?
That was the dude that flew all
That was-
50 states,
that
and
was
he got
Harley.
certain
Oh, it's
permission
Harley,
to
yeah.
take off. Yeah, Harley.
Okay, that was pretty cool. There's another great pilot right there, Harley Milne. Just
Hey, we have a lot of good pilots on the show. You get this guy that did an awesome hay bale slalom. Win.
He
Guinness
is definitely the
World
most
Book
favorite.
record holder. Now we got the famous David DePino. Man,
oh, how
show's
about
growing, brother.
JT?
Doing
He
Wordle?
did, he did the hay braille slalom.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I did it, but I
Went for it.
You did not do it.
It was full sin, brother.
It was CG. It was all CG. It never happened. It's just it was I'm a stuntman. I worked
Oh,
for
I
the
wish.
movies.
How about JT Wordle? Anybody watch any of his
Yeah.
stuff?
Out of
Live,
Utah.
laugh, love.
Yeah. Live, laugh, love. He's got some good stuff too. And I want to asterisk this too. If we haven't mentioned you, and we should have, it's not because there's just so many fantastic pilots out there that I'm sure we're forgetting some awesome names. So no hard feelings if we forgot you.
Yeah, literally, Jesus showed up to my class, man. He's a dude named Jason. I won't give his last name. I'm not sure I know how to pronounce it correctly, but he was in my class. And he's got the full beard, hair, everything. And yeah, it's pretty special. Jesus flew. He got the name Chop Shoey because they gave him an old motor that had a bunch of butt landings, and so the clearance between the prop and the bottom of the cage was about 2 inches. And he took off with such gusto that he put his foot through the prop.
Ooh.
And there was 3 slits on the back side of the heel of his boot and no cut through the sock at all. And they got it on video. Basically, he was able to take his boot off and stick his finger through the back side of the boot. The prop went all the way through.
Wow.
But he walked away from it, man.
You can walk on water. You think a prop's going to hurt him?
Right?
Oh, not Jesus.
It reminds me of the Big Lebowski where he's like, "Hey, nobody mess with the Jesus."
Who was that pilot that went down and we were looking for him for a couple of weeks? Did anybody find him? Who was that?
No, they're still searching for Kiwi. They still haven't located him yet.
What a terrible.
Yeah, that's rough.
What happened?
So a paraglide pilot launched in North Nevada. They got into strong lift and they carried him into the Nevada mountain range. And that's where he sent off his spot locator emergency beacon. They went to where the spot beacon had gone off and they started searching from there. And it's been almost 3 weeks now and they still haven't been able to locate him.
Oh my crap. I didn't know he had a spot, man. I mean, he had a spot that worked and they still couldn't find him. That sucks.
Well, they're not sure what the situation is because the spot didn't continue to produce the beacon. It only put out the original SOS and then it quit working after that. So they don't know if he went down on reserve. They don't know if he landed, packed up, and started hiking. Like, there's literally no information. They just got the emergency SOS and he hasn't been seen in 3 weeks. So it's very, very scary for everyone involved.
That's not good.
If I was closer, I'd take my paramotor and I'd start buzzing all over the sky with my paramotor looking if I could help it.
I'm surprised more people are not doing that.
I mean,
I know.
they had people combing the GPS like video. What a terrible.
Yeah, I went through all that footage and went through the aerials that they shot and stuff like that. I couldn't find anything. I'm hoping that he's just on a long hike and he's going to pop up soon and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Oh, that's something I'm gonna add to my pack now. I'm gonna put a water filter. They're teeny, they're tiny, and you can get fresh water. That's what I'd be worried about out there in that desert, especially.
Oh, yeah,
I went through
20-degree heat.
I went through the Grand Canyon with a pack on my back for 6 days, used those little water filters. There's water holes like all over the place. It's more surprising than I thought. So hopefully he
So
does.
this guy was obviously flying by himself like a lot of us do.
No,
on a
he
regular
flew.
basis.
He was flying with a friend.
Really?
Yeah.
I think like two
It's
friends.
easy to get split up in free flight though.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, you leave a thermal earlier than the other guy. He gets into another thermal and he's circling up and he sees you, but you're, a mile, to the west of him and you're fighting your thermal. You're worried about staying up. You're not worried about staying together.
Gotcha.
Very
Because he was a
easy to get split
paraglider.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm no
He was
paraglider
experienced paraglider and survivalist. So they were saying if anyone could have, landed out and with a broken leg and survived for a week, it was him, which makes it even rougher that he still hasn't shown up yet. Like, damn.
There was a post on Facebook, I think it was put on yesterday, day before, his sister flew into town or whatever, and they were still doing the search and rescue. But because it's so dense out there, that is really hard to get, any kind of intense search. I mean, like with the helicopters, anything like that. So, yeah, it's on Facebook. I think it's on Bradley's Facebook page or whatever. But there was an update a couple days ago. We still have a bunch of people out there still looking.
So this might be a little off topic, but all your paramotor pilots, potentially emergency scouts, has any law enforcement agency ever approached you to help find something because they knew you could fly?
So let me kind of go into this. I actually worked for Southern Arizona Search and Rescue, so I kind of know a little bit about how that works. Different states and counties go with different authorities. So in Southern Arizona, it was part of the sheriff's office, right? In some states, though, it's part of the fire department office, right? So it kind of depends on where that would be. But typically, if you're going to be participating in search, that's all volunteer, right? So as long as you're clear to fly there, you should be able to search as a volunteer. If, however, you wanted to be active in the search and rescue community, you generally need what's called a WEC, or a Wilderness Emergency Care certification. So it's roughly what an EMT would get plus about 12 weeks of medical, because EMT is generally the first half hour of trauma. WEC is the first 48 hours of trauma. So if you're looking to get into that kind of thing, definitely look into where you could get your WEC certification, which stands for Wilderness Emergency Care. A lot of times it's put on by Ski Patrol, because Ski Patrol usually has WEC. So there you go.
Oh,
See, up here in Oregon, I've taken that course. They call it by a different name. They call it Wilderness Mountain Rescue Course, but it's the same basic course. You go through all the first aid triage, and then they also go through high angle rescues. So if you had to get somebody out of a tree or get somebody off a cliff face, then you have all the information to be able to rappel yourself down or climb up, collect the injured party, and then belay them down from a cliffside or down from a tree, and to do it all safely.
This is not if you're flying a paramotor to search. That this has nothing to do with the paramotor, right?
Yeah, so up here in the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of trees. Almost every single flying site is surrounded by very, very tall conifer trees. So if you were to go down on reserve, it's really likely that you could be hung 100 feet up in the top of a conifer. So to get yourself down out of a 100-foot tree, the only way to do it safely is to have somebody come up the tree, anchor a rope and a belay, and then collect the person who's hanging with some sort of a harness, and then to belay them down to the ground slowly and controlled. Most people, believe it or not, when they get hurt on their reserve, don't get hurt, at least in the free flight community. I'm going to be clear on that. They don't get hurt from when they actually hit the ground. What happens is they can see the ground as they hang from a tree, and they start unbuckling everything, and they try to get out of the harness and get to the ground, and they wind up falling 30 to 45 feet. And that's how they wind up getting seriously injured, is falling out of the harness to the ground.
wow.
So that's why the high angle mountain rescue is a really worthwhile course for your fellow pilots to have, because they're the ones that are come rescue you.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Now that WEC cert that you were talking about, does that has nothing to do with being a paramotor pilot flying around?
No.
What is that about then?
No, I was saying if you wanted to get involved in your local search and rescue, right?
Okay.
If you actually wanted to be part of the local search and rescue, usually they require outside of the volunteers, usually they require those people that are doing it more as less than a volunteer, but more as an active participant to have a WEC. That's what that was. But just so you know, if you get involved with search and rescue, at least my experience, there was more body recovery than there was anything else. So you got to kind of know what you're getting into.
That's a lot more.
The reason I asked the question was because Sheriff, I believe it was, showed up at my dad's house 20 years ago and asked if he could use his plane to locate the rancher's ostriches that got out of the pen. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons that you could use a paramotor or a plane to locate something. God, I hope I never get called to find a friend down in a tree somewhere close by. Man, that'd be a bad day. But you should all carry a tree kit, right? You know, in a worst case, it's a roll of dental floss that you can lower to the ground and pull up a belay rope. So you keep somebody from having climbed up to the tree to you.
Mm-hmm.
How heavy is something like that? I mean, how much experience do you have with that, Brian?
Dental floss?
Yeah. Yeah. Are we talking about real dental floss, or are we talking about something different?
No, man, just a small roll of dental floss, something that if you're stuck in the tree, part of a paramotor emergency safety kit is usually part of it. It's just some sort of thin line that you can drop down to the ground and pull a stronger line up to you. Anyway, I've been told that's how it goes.
That's interesting. Who knows what would be in a paramotor safety kit?
So
besides dental floss.
A paramotor tree kit generally consists of about 50 feet of small, lightweight cord, a FISC, which is known as a figure 8 for doing rappelling, and generally a general first aid kit, so standard bandages and so forth.
Who on this panel right now that flies carries anything remotely like that? Man, be honest.
No floss, just a roll.
You do.
Yeah.
And Kevin does too.
Yeah,
I
I have a
kit.
tree kit, and I only use it. I only take it and use it when I go flight in certain locations that are heavy with trees. Most of the area that I fly around is wide open valley, so I never have to worry about it. But there's a couple of coastal sites that you only have a limited amount of beach, and then there's a lot of trees around it. So if I fly there, I put the tree kit in my harness, so that way, if I have a motor out and end up in a tree, I can at least belay myself down if I'm well enough to do it.
What's the minimum amount of first aid would you think would be good to carry with you as a paramotor pilot? Anybody?
Band-Aid.
So I use
Nothing?
a crossover kit. I got a kit up at the mountain for wintertime snow skiing, and so it's got what do you call it? Butterflies, band-aids, aspirin, typical standard stuff. But then it also has an emergency blanket. It has a CPR ball valve mask, and I mean it's pretty much just a standard first aid kit, but it fits in a little zippered pouch, and that whole little pouch just fits right in the side of my harness, and that goes in and just stays there always. So I always have a first aid kit.
So it's just something that you can get at Walmart.
I got mine at the mountain from Ski Patrol. That's what Ski Patrol uses.
I think an Israeli wrap would probably be good for, because I can imagine if you needed to apply first aid from a paramotor or to another paramotor pilot, it's probably going to be involving one of two things: either lacerations from a propeller or broken bones. I would think those are probably the two, right? So
yeah, laceration.
Maybe yeah. So maybe a splint or an Israeli wrap would probably be better than a sprint, and then yeah, whatever for lacerations.
Well, I mean, we all fly with a windsock pole, so you just duct tape the pole to their leg, and then they're good, right?
That's only the LZ. I'm talking about, what would you want to fly? I mean, right now people are talking about, shaving off a couple ounces off a frame to make their paramotor, lighter. A lot of people, I'm sure, aren't going to, go and put a 10-pound, bag that has a bunch of first aid kit stuff in it. So, what would you do, knowing what we just talked about? What's the minimum that you put in your paramotor kit? I know that Kevin just said something, with the basics. Anybody else have anything that you'd put in your paramotor kit? First aid kit?
Something like a Swiss Army knife or something like that.
That's a good idea.
That's
Swiss
very
Army knife.
universal.
Another simple one that I carry with me is a spare spark plug and a plug wrench.
I do have the spark plug and plug wrench, the little tiny one.
I think if you're worried about weight, you need to look at how long you're going to fly, because the biggest way you can save weight is fuel. So if you're not going to be flying for, a long distance, don't put in that much fuel, because forget about ounces. I mean, now we're talking about pounds. When you're talking about fuel, an extra gallon of fuel is 6 pounds.
Yep.
Why are you worried about ounces on a frame if you're going to fill up your tank and you're not going to use it? So
that's true. I do have a 5-gallon tank, and I fill it up tippy top every single time that I fly, just so I know in case I want to fly around. I'm like, hey, look at that way over there. I'm going to go fly over there just for fun. Look at my watch. Okay, I got about 2 hours left. So
I love launching with a small child on my back.
2 hours left. What are you flying an Atom 80?
no,
I'm Upster 185. I don't have near that kind of range. I think an hour and a half is the longest flight I've had so far.
Okay.
How many gallons you put in?
Curious topic. So, if you're flying a Moster, what is your fuel burn per hour? How many liters per hour do you burn?
Kevin, that's a great topic, because I cannot figure that out, and I think I'm actually burning more fuel than other people my weight flying the exact same motor. So this is a phenomenal topic.
All right, so we're I guess we are done with our paramotor peeps and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and talk now in our after show, which we weren't going to do, but hey, it's flowing, so let's keep it going. Talking about fuel, I have 5 gallons. And with it topped off, I can do about 3 hours.
size wing are you flying, and what is your weight?
My weight right now is 260. My all up is about 330-ish or so. Well, actually, I think, yeah, about 330 or 340, depending on, I think it's 340 now with that full 5 gallons of gas, which is 30 extra pounds. Let's see. I have a 28-meter wing. It's the Gen Vantage 3. It's more lifty. It has less material, less lines than my Roadster 3. It has more lift, and it's more buoyant than my 28-meter Roadster. Go figure. But yeah, I'm getting about 3 hours off of 5 gallons.
Wow. Yeah, you're getting an hour more than I am.
With 5 gallons?
Yeah, you're getting an hour more, and I'm 180.
With the most of 185?
Yeah. No, I'm 180. Standing on a scale, I'm 180. Like with the Moster 185, I'm probably 230 maybe, I would think, right? Somewhere around there. I'm flying a 23 Charger or an 18 Colorado. One of those two is what I usually fly. So I'm not as efficient as you, that's for sure.
What unit do you have?
Yeah,
What
Moster
frame?
185. The frame is an Airfur. It's a titanium Airfur frame.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you might need to turn your low end screw down or in about a 30,000th of a turn.
Yeah, it could be the type of flying. I'm always flying in heavy winds though as well. Always. So.
Yes. Sure.
How about your throttle? Are you going full throttle on it, or?
A lot, yeah. So, and I'm on the bar a lot too, which I know kills it. So it could be the type of flying too.
That sounds like it, because if I fly with bar, my trims out and going for speed or trying to penetrate the wind, I burn a lot more because I'm pretty much full throttle. Mostly what I do is I have the trims all the way in, and I'm just skimming along doing some foot dragging, maybe even 10 feet above the ground, and just maybe a third of throttle, and that's pretty much what I do the entire time that I'm flying. It seems like it'd be boring, but man, everything is just so beautiful. You don't have all that different, all of that wind from winds aloft, and it's just smooth. Well, except for this last time, there's lots of turbulence, but other than that, it's really nice.
Then my next question will be, what prop do you have on your motor?
I got the Helix 135.
So I'm just using a 2-prop, the easy, what are those light ones? What are they called?
E-prop?
E-props, yeah. Yep.
I also have an E-prop 130. It just doesn't put out enough thrust, and my motor spins so much faster to give me the same amount of thrust as the Helix does. There we go.
So I went from a 125 to a 130 on the E-prop. I use a lot less throttle for cruise, and I went from about 4.5 liters an hour burn down to about 4 liters an hour burn.
See, that's exactly where I'm at. I've got the 125 E-prop, and I'm about 4.5 liters per hour.
Have you guys tried the 3-blade?
Not yet.
Yet.
No.
I want to one of these days. I just got my second wing, so I can't do that right now.
I have to find a disposable $525, and then I'll have a nice new 3-blade.
As soon as they Zoom me and start making some money, I'm gonna buy me a 3-bladed prop.
Yeah,
And how come she doesn't donate to our video like she does the Roberts? I mean, geez, just 2 videos and I'd be able to buy a prop.
6, 7, 8. We got 8 people here. We have 3 likes on the website. So I'm
We don't
thinking,
even all like our own videos.
maybe if you go like the video, more people will see it. More people will want to come here and take a look. So just say it.
Like, share, and subscribe.
I liked it, man.
I mean, you gotta share it. And if I make any money off this, I'll split it with you guys. I'll give you a couple pennies here and there. I mean, we're not making too much, but
I'll take you out to dinner. Any drive-through you want.
As long as it's off the dollar menu. Oh, that reminds me, Tommy, there is a field right next. Am I here? There I am.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
That was weird. There's a field right next to McDonald's that I found over here in Conway.
Oh no. Oh no.
We're gonna
Don't
have to
do
do a do a drive-through. Just
Like-
swoop in,
Yeah.
in,
He
go right
always
through the
seems to
drive-through.
have the
You have to go to the
FAA
window, kiting
following
your
him
wing,
real
take the
closely
food,
up
and
there
then
in
go back to
Conway.
kiting and launch.
Exactly. Kite the wing through. Hurry up, give it to me. Hurry.
You can go with two people on a paramotor. One person can land with a video camera, walk through the
Yeah.
drive-through with the motor in the back, totally
Yeah.
cool by itself. And then they can hold the food up, and the other person can swoop through and get it.
There you go. Who's gonna swoop? Tommy, are you gonna swoop or are you gonna hold it up there right next to my prop?
What they
Yeah.
you gotta do is you gotta get a bunch of helium balloons, tie it to the food bag, and then float it up to you like that movie Up. And you just fly by and just catch the balloon with your food.
Did
They
you
did
see
some
David
dude
Blaine?
do
Did you
that.
see David Blaine
Yeah.
do that? He just did
Yeah.
that a couple days ago. Not
Would he
with
go to
the-
like 3,000 feet and skydive from there or something?
Yeah, 20-some thousand feet he went up there. He had to use oxygen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, boating around with his hot air balloons. Or helium balloons, I should
Yeah,
say.
helium.
I wasn't really impressed by that. I was like, okay.
I
I
was.
saw the Helix guy jump out of a spacecraft. And,
That was
plummet back
cool.
to Earth. Yeah.
That
I was
was
actually
cool.
on an airplane flying from Alabama to Arizona. And the pilot said, if you look out of your left window, you'll see a weather balloon going up. That's Felix. I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry, dude.
Baumgartner. Felix
Okay.
Baumgartner.
But so I actually saw through a plane,
kidding.
commercial aircraft window, saw him going up. That was pretty cool. It took him hours to get up there, obviously, but man, impressive.
That
He
was pretty
broke
cool.
the sound barrier falling
Yeah.
back to Earth. Like that's a feat right there.
The guy that had that record before that actually lives up here in Fayetteville. He was a jumper at Sky Ranch, and he said it feels like you're belly flopping. You slow down, you're moving from 700, and you're slowing down, down to terminal velocity, 120 miles per hour. Once you get, to a certain altitude.
Tommy, you need to connect to your Wi-Fi, brother.
I have to
Yeah.
imagine that'd be pretty painful.
Well, guys, I gotta cut out of here. I gotta do the old domestic thing real quick. So
Yeah, and we went over our hour. We were just going to do an hour. It is Labor Day. We do want to make sure that we have time with our friends and family. So it was a really good show, guys. Thank you so much, Linda Anderson. Woo, thank you so much for coming here. We got Chris, Kevin, Brian, JP, David, Tommy, and myself. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. This is Clear Prop TV signing off a little bit early. Have a wonderful Labor Day, and we'll catch you next Monday.
Paragliding talk, Josh.
care.
Bob.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Got a good story coming up next weekend. David, go give us all his inside information.
David will be here
On
next
a big
week.
trip.
I know, I'm excited.
All right, y'all. Have a great one. Thank you so
God
much.
bless.
Good
Bye-bye.
night, guys. Peace.